And welcome to Counsel today with Shanrae. And I am Shanrae. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are on week 2 already. Week 2 this month, we've been talking about, are you ready to change or are you ready for change? Last week was wonderful. We talked about some subtopics. Last Thursday, we ended with talked about how we can change. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the different stages of change and how it affects us in our lives. But before we get started, I'm going to do my website disclaimer, and then we're going to move on from there. Good evening, Instagram land. Good evening, Facebook land. Good evening, YouTube land. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let me get to my comments in here. I'm on several different platforms, so. And this is an open platform. So if you all have any comments or anything like that, feel free and I will give highlight to it. If you want to add any life scenarios, feel free to do that as well. All right. So my website disclaimer says, please be aware that due to the nature of the technology that I'm using, that there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. It should also be noted that due to the changes in policies that all replies are to be used as advisory and informational only and will not constitute an official determination. Information that's provided by myself are subject to limitations of current and available material, but the final responsibility rests with you, the individual. Information online is designed to be helpful. However, this information does change frequently, and it is recommended that you consult another physician, another specialist, and or a religious leader to aid you in your overall behavioral wellness. Let me move my slides on. I opened up last week and I gave my that's the website disclaimer. I talked about my bio. I am a degree counselor from Ashford University. I'm a Christian counselor. So the my scripture for the entire year comes from Deuteronomy. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired. Deuteronomy 31:6, the NIV version. And it says to be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Hey, Woe 76. Hey, Charla Moore. How you doing over there, Instagram land? It's so good to see everybody tonight. This 30 minutes is gonna come and go by quickly, and so y'all just bear with me. Let's go over our key points for tonight. All right. So our key points for tonight are: number 1, how you can change. Number 2 is the formative years. Number 3 is becoming yourself from day one. How you become yourself from day one. Number 4 is why childhood matters when it comes to change. Number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5 is teens tune into new voices, and number 6 is maturity and your midlife. How we're constantly changing. It don't just stop after we get out of puberty. We are constantly changing. So let's move on to how we can change. We're picking up from last week, and last week we broke down the different stages of change, and we're gonna revisit those two, the different stages of change, and it was explosive. It was awesome. We talked about the 5 different stages of change last week. Number 1 was the pre-contemplation stage, which that is the denial. We all have been in denial. That's that denial stage, number 1, the pre-contemplation stage. Then the contemplation stage is where, okay, you're owning up to it. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Okay, that's us. Then number 3 is the preparation stage. Okay, and that's in change. Number 4 is the action stage, where you're actually making change. You're walking through it. And number 5 is the maintenance stage, where you have been doing it, and then you've had some slip-ups, like a diet. You go hard. You went hard for 6 months. You went hard for 8 months. Then you rewarded yourself, and you went and got Dairy Queen. And then you said, I'm going to do a whole weekend. And so you pork out on the weekend, and then you think you're going to jump back into your routine on Monday, and you don't. And you wind up 2 weeks later talking about, oh my God, I didn't gain 10 pounds in 2 weeks because I just let myself go. But then you jump back into your routine. That's the maintenance stage. We fall down, but we do get up. And that's a part of life. Everybody does it. So that was the 5 stages that we did talk about when it comes to change. We all go through it several times in our lives. We transition. So how we change? So the question is not whether you'll change, because we are going to change. Research clearly shows that everyone's personality traits shift over the years, often for the better. Okay, that's what we are looking for. We're looking for changing for the better, right? But who we end up becoming and how much we like the person that we become is more in our control than we tend to think, guys. All right. So this teaching is by Dr. Vanessa, and I'm gonna say her last name, and I'm gonna say it one time, and that's it. Dr. Vanessa Lobo, and I probably said it wrong. Lobu. Dr. Vanessa Lobu. Okay, it's L-O-B as in boy, U-E, Lobu. All right, but I'm gonna call her Dr. Vanessa. So it talks about how we actually have more control with changing our lives and the things that we don't like, the negative things in our lives, how we have more control than what we give ourselves credit for. All right. So Dr. Vanessa, she started from the beginning, the formative years. All right, the formative years. Let me move this along. Because I'll talk and keep it. Here we go. The formative years. Dr. Vanessa says that many of our tendencies and behaviors are to a lot of varying degrees, and they're innate. But we don't come out of the womb with a prepackaged personality. We just don't. Okay, behavioral. Dr. Vanessa says that behavioral genetics research demonstrates both the importance and the limits of genetics as a determinant and a trait. So, and the influence of environment and experience on temperament as early as infancy. Like, we look at babies and we can see right then how they're going to be when they get older. I'm telling you, when you see a wayward baby, you're like, oh my gosh, that baby is stubborn. And then we already see as a baby, like, ooh, if they don't nip that in the bud, this child is going to always want to do what they want to do. And that is it. So this is what Dr. Vanessa is just backing up. She's backing it up that we see these traits in infancy. She said all of these forces shape us throughout our childhood and our adolescence. And then when we begin to turn away from our home, ideally with enough resilience to meet the challenges of turning ourselves into the adults that they want to be. So she talks about the formative years. And then she says, becoming yourself from day one. All right. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and how change is inevitable, but how we still have more power to change the negative things that we don't like about ourselves than what we tend to give ourselves credit for. And that goes back to that pre-contemplation stage, that denial stage. Once you get over that, then you're good to go. You can start moving forward and start becoming the best version of yourself. And again, this month we are talking about change. Hey, T. Sevier. Hi, CJ. Good to see you all. So Dr. Vanessa says that we show signs of temperament as early as infancy. Once again, she says this. She said any parent of more than one child will tell you that every baby is unique, which they are. I had three. Now. My grown folk, they grown. And all of them they all have their own different personalities. There's similarities, but they each have their own unique personalities for real. And with their own individual personalities, like we always say that our baby, our daughter, our only girl, she's a mixture of the both of us, me and my husband. She really is. She just mixed up. Okay. And a long history of research suggests that temperament, or a person's own style of emotionally responding to their environment, can be first identified in infants as young as 4 months, of age. And it is measured by showing infants some simple toys and studying how they behave while they're playing with toys. And this is true. When we had our third and our last baby, our only girl, I told my husband, whether it's a boy or girl, number 3, that's it. He wanted 10 children. Y'all hear me? over there, Instagram land, YouTube land. My husband was trying to get 10 babies out of me. He got 3. That was it. I said, number 3, whether it's a girl or boy, that was it. And we had our little girl. And so as she was moving along as a little baby, she really didn't like dolls. As a baby, she did not like dolls at all. I would try to give her little dolls and show her how to do the hair and stuff. And guys, I'm being very candid. Hey, Gaga, how you doing? Hey, Beth. I'm being very candid. She would take them dolls, and then I started noticing at the age of 1, she was 1 and 1.5 years old. She would take the dolls and go get something like some tissue and try to put it on the pamper on the baby. She would be cleaning the baby up. And I just sat there and watched her. She was wiping the baby down, head to toe, wiping the baby down, putting lotion on the baby. Then she would try to get some little tissue or paper towel and try to tie it around the baby, put it around the baby as a pamper. And then she would put the baby to the side, and then she would go on and she used to like binkies, little pacifiers. So she was sitting there, or even sucking a pacifier or sucking her tongue. And then she would go off and do something else and then go over and look at the baby and then try to feed the baby after a little bit and then put the baby back down and then go over somewhere else. Let me tell y'all something. This is how you will learn. Really watch a child, watch a baby, watch how they are with toys, watch how they are with the things that they like. And it really does. Dee Dee said, hey, hi Dee Dee. Let me tell you, I'm telling you, watching an infant, you will see their personality. I'm glad Dee Dee is on here now. Her youngest, no, that's not her youngest granddaughter. Her daughter's youngest daughter. When she was born, I call her Samnaya. When Samnaya was born, I said it from a baby. When she started walking in them Pampers and them little Pampers, I said, oh my God, she gonna be a mess. A mess when she know what she want, and that is it. And now Dee Dee's grandbaby, I think Samnaya, Dee Dee, how old is Samnaya? Is she 13, 12, 13? Oh my God. She has always been a little young lady from a child, a baby. I always knew she would have them purses. And she would be to herself, and that just one way, and that was it. She's 14. Lord, Samnaya is 14. But when I say when she started walking, she was so independent. That baby, she was independent. She walk around, and I said, I said, she already know what she want. That child she said she run everybody. I know. Because she was running everybody when she started walking. She couldn't even talk good. But you watch these babies, like Dr. Vanessa said, watch the babies. You will see their personalities, and you will see how they will shape into who they are going to be. And I promise you, it's just something else. So that's what Dr. Vanessa was talking about. And this is all going according to change, okay? How we change, not only physically and emotionally and mentally, but how Dr. Vanessa is breaking it down. This is infancy now with that. She said the traits of emotional stability reaches far beyond early childhood. She said differences between shy and a more social preschool age child can be seen in their biology and in their brains. You can see how their brains work. And suggesting a strong biological basis. So you might think of a temperament as the biological foundation for personality, but personality itself is made up of a child's temperament. I'm going to pause here right now. I remember talking to my first cousin on my mom's side of the family. So this is my mother's sister's child. And this is my first cousin on my maternal side of the family. And we were talking, and y'all know I'm candid, and I'm an open book. And it is what it is. And so we were talking, and he said we were talking about one of my siblings, not in a bad way, but he was like, he said, they call me Ree. He said, Ree, so-and-so has always been dramatic and drama. And I said, are you sure? And those of y'all that know, y'all know who I'm talking with, sibling I'm talking about. And he said that so-and-so has always been dramatic. dramatic ever since we was younger. She always was just very dramatic. Didi got the eye. Didi got the eyes. She got the eyes. I'm surprised Gaga didn't say nothing right now, because Gaga no. And so my cousin said, so-and-so has always been over dramatic ever since we was younger. And I was like, for real? Oh my God, you don't remember how things was always blown out of proportion? And I was like, no. And he was like, how did you? And he was like, you lived with it. How did you not know that this person, that she was always over dramatic? And I was like, I guess I just tuned it out. And he was like, I don't see how. Because, I mean, everything has just always been inflated, just over dramatic. You know, I was like, oh. And so, again, that shapes, you know, when someone sees a person's personality and everything, and it becomes a part of them. And guess what? Even as an adult, my sibling is still over dramatic. It's still like, and I was like, you know, I just tuned it out when we was younger, but it was brought up by our first cousin. Like, no, you don't remember, always over dramatic. I said, oh my gosh. Hey, officially how you doing? Hi, Inquisitive, Miss Inquisitive. But I'm telling you, Didi said, my God, yes. Listen, again, I am shocked that Gaga ain't tuning in right now. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So a child, you will always see, and a person, if they choose not, what she said, still dramatic. Yes, still dramatic. Okay. So I mean, but it took our first cousin to bring it up. And hey, I'm sorry, officially am. But it took our first cousin to bring it up and say, it's always been over dramatic. And so if you do not kind of, you know, look at certain things, if you have to get out of that pre-contemplation stage of change, that is denial. You got to get out of that denial stage in order for you to move forward and say, I'm going to change this. I'm going to work on changing this about me, because I don't want to be known as the drama queen. I'm laughing because Didi's got it in all caps with exclamation marks. Still dramatic. Oh my God. But you know, I guess always just been like that. So this is what Dr. Vanessa was talking about how this, you know, you can see how a child is going to be as an adult as they get older, because it starts in the formative years. So now, let me move this on. Now, Dr. David is coming back, and he's talking about why childhood matters so much. He said, what we've learned about the years when personality kicks into high gear. Well, teens into, okay. Did I just move too fast? Teens into new voices. Oh yeah, I moved too fast, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, becoming yourself from day one. Nope. Okay, let's leave it there. So Dr. David is now saying that what we've learned about the years when personality kicks into higher gear, he's saying that during the school age period, which often refers to the time from kindergarten to puberty, the complex dance between a child's early temperament and their experience kicks into high gear. Now, Gaga said it runs in the family. I'm sorry, because Gaga is a part of the family, so she says, okay, drama runs in the family. She would know. She would definitely know that drama runs in the family. Okay, so I've tried to tune mine down, the drama down, and I've always tried to check my drama. And I'm still working on that change. I'm out of that pre-contemplation stage, and I'm working on that maintenance, the action and maintenance stage with me. But Dr. David talks about how how during the school age period, how from time of kindergarten to puberty, the complex dance between a child's early temperament and their experience kicks into high gear. We see that. I'm a former teacher. And so, seeing these different things happening with these school age children, K through fifth grade, sixth grade, middle school, it's really that's the time really in kindergarten, in the earlier years, first, second, third grade. All of these, if we start seeing negative tendencies as parents, as an adult, we really do need to try to start shaping these children. What is it? The real Javon. Hey, Javon, how you doing? And I'm sorry, CJ said, I'm so glad I tuned in. This is good. Oh, thank you, CJ, over there in Instagram land. But we need to start reshaping these temperaments when we see like negative temperaments, as Dr. David is saying. We can start shaping them and gearing them a different way, and start helping these adolescents, helping them start to look at the these triggers and different things to help them kind of regulate if they have a very explosives type of temperaments. Javon says, I'm good, I just woke up. Okay, I'm glad that you're on, Javon. So Dr. David talks about many frameworks describe 3 core traits when it comes from, he was saying, from that school age to puberty. And the 3 core traits are negative emotionality, and how much a child tends to experience negative emotions, like fear, anger, and frustration. Then number 2 is extroversion, how much a child tends to experience positive emotions, like joy and excitement, and the degree to which they like more stimulating environments. And a regulatory dimension that describes their ability to focus, stay in control, and work towards their goals. Hey, Derek, it's good to see you. I know that with me and being a counselor, and I counsel all age groups. But when I get to sit down with a younger child going into preteens and stuff, and I notice that there are tendencies to gear towards depression. I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist, so I do hands-on work. We do assignments. I do work and try to give them some different assignments that they can start regularly practicing in their lives to help them. Because y'all hear me say often, you hear me say often that I see the glass halfway full. That's the type of person I am. I don't like to look at the glass halfway empty. That's more of a negative thing. So with me giving strategies and different things like that, so whenever they feel themselves drifting off towards the negative, they correct it, automatically replace that negative with a positive, so they can start looking at, let's try to draw and find the positive out of whatever, even if it's a situation that's out of your control and it may be challenging. I always call it a challenging situation. Okay. And if we can still try to pull some positives out of that and just focus on that, because the more you focus on the positive, the better your brain, the better your energy, the greater your energy. And so with those different things, and so this is what Dr. David is talking about how these 3 things, these 3 core traits, negative emotionality, watch that. That was something that needed to be watched as we were growing up. Then going into like, again, the negative is the fear, the anger, and the frustration. The extroversion is the joy, and all of those things. And then going into the regulatory dimensions, all right, about how to focus and stay in control and work towards these goals. All right. So Derek says challenges, areas of opportunity. And that's exactly the way we need to look at that. These challenges, they're actually an area of opportunity. So you can learn how to navigate through something challenging. You'll learn more about yourself in a challenging situation, whether you're a child or whether you're an adult. You will learn something about yourself. Hey, Rhoda, how you doing? You will learn a lot of times how to become more resourceful. You will also learn how integrous you are too. Okay, a challenging situation will show you who you are for real. It'll show you how integrous you are, Or is there some areas that you need improvement even with that? Javon says, but sometimes it's hard for a child or a teen to express themselves, especially as they get older because of the past trauma, or also like losing someone close to their hearts. And again, you're absolutely right. That's why it doesn't always have to be a parent, Javon. Doesn't always have to be a parent. Thank God for, again, I'm a former educator, but when I was teaching in the classroom setting, that was a ministry. I'm a Christian, y'all know I'm a Christian counselor. And so it was a ministry. And so I know I was placed there, and I was a middle school special education teacher. So whenever these children experience loss or trauma, abuse, or anything like that, there were practices that we practice within the classroom setting, and to help teach them how to overcome these situations and how to move on. Because the truth of the matter is, there is always going to be something traumatic or something challenging that we experience in life, and we have to learn how to overcome those situations. I'm not saying that we're not going to feel it. I'm not saying that we're not going to feel when we're in it. Fear, you go through it. Go through it. I'm not going to tell, don't act like it's not happening. We got to go through it. But we also have to learn how to navigate through it and rise above it. And so there are different, this is why I do this 4 times a year. My counsel of the day for 1 month, 4 times out of the year, is to give strategy how we can navigate through whatever uncomfortable situations, because we're always going to experience this. There are people on here of all ages that are online with Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube that are watching, and they can if they feel to share, they can tell you that they have had some life stresses, they've had some traumatic things, but and they can tell you it may have taken some time, or it may have taken a couple of years, but they got through it. They learned how to rise above it. They learned how to navigate through it with keeping their minds, without losing their minds. Good evening, Angie B. Without them losing their minds, without them, losing their integrity. Tough times are going to happen, but we as if we're blessed to be around young people, it's not only telling them what to do. If they can, because they watch us. If they can see how we overcome through difficult situations, through trauma, through loss, I'm telling you, people, they're watching and they're learning. My kids are grown. And those that are close to me, they know. Derek says challenges, areas of opportunity. That's what he said. My children are grown, and everybody lives on their own. So I have my puppy and my grandpup that I take care of. The children in the neighborhood come over almost every day and ask, could the puppies come out and play? And we let them go out and play with the kids. But those kids they're drawn to, because of the puppies. But they talk, we listen, and then we encourage. We encourage them and tell them, do well in school, whatever. And then they sit down and we listen. And then I'm praying silently, because everybody doesn't have the same belief as me. But I know I pray silently. And they listen to the advice that we give. And they come back and say, I did what you said, man. Oh, you're the cutest little kid. I did what you said, man. Oh, and it helped. It helped me a lot. So again, we as individuals, God will, or you will be placed in places and positions in your life where you will impact in a positive way people that's in your surroundings, maybe your neighbors, maybe your co-workers, however. But we are here, people, the way we help people in ways that we never expect. And I got a little off because I wanted to answer Javon. Yes, they at that age, they don't know, but somebody somewhere in their life, somebody was going to be placed in their life to help them navigate through the trauma, through loss, and let them know you are going to rise above this. So back to Dr. Dr. What did I say? What is his name? I'm sorry. Dr. David. This is some of the things that Dr. David is talking about shaping. And I talked about that. Now, let's move into teens who tune into new voices. Teenagers, their brains seek novelty. And a part of and that's when they start tuning out their parents. For example, can you please put your dishes in the sink? You asking your child. You say it again. Please put your dishes in the sink. And then you got to, sometimes you say it nicely. I'm not sure if you heard me, but can you please put your dishes in the sink? It seems like we are broken records constantly saying stuff. Dee Dee says, you have to first be honest with yourself and your stuff, and then choose to make changes on a daily basis on purpose. She said, you have to be an agent of change. Exactly. Going back to those 5 stages that we talked about last week. You got to get out that pre-contemplation stage. You got to get out that denial. Once you get out that denial stage, then it's a uphill journey from there. Because the contemplation stage is you're saying, you know what? It is me. I am the one. I'm the problem. Then you move on to the action stage and to the this, that, and the other. The preparation stage, then action stage, then the maintenance stage. So again, it's the same thing what Dee Dee was just saying. Once you realize that it's you, then you may have to make a choice. Are you going to stay this way? Or are you going to start moving into change? And so what I'm talking about tonight is the stages of how, and from children on, teenagers, teens, when you become a teenager, how your parents don't never know what they're talking about. Let me just surmise that. It seems like the teens don't listen. They've even broken it down and neurologically, where they're saying that it's a neurological thing, that it's a part of their transition where they just automatically, when they meet new people, your teenagers, they meet new people, they choose to listen to them rather than their parents. It's a part of the biology. It's a biological stage. And so I'm surmising it because, our time is up. All right. So I'm going to move it to now maturity in the midlife stages and how we are still changing. So it's talking about marriage or long-term partnership, career changes. Woody, be quiet, please. I'm sorry, my grandpa. How Dr. Davis talking about how maturity in midlife. Hey, Precious, how you doing? No, Woody. And so Dr. Davis, he said marriage or long-term partnership, career changes, geographic moves, and the arrival of children can all push us to adapt to meet the expectations and needs of new people that are in our lives in ways that we might never have imagined. And while the inevitable highs and lows of adult life can dramatically affect our happiness and satisfaction with self-awareness and a sense of purpose and perhaps some lifestyle changes, we can resist the roller coaster and mature. Oh Lord, it got cut off. But how sometimes even who we get with, we wind up becoming more like the person we with and stop being who we are. And I'm talking about in a negative way. We've seen it over and over again where maybe somebody or maybe one of us have gotten in an unhealthy relationship. And instead of us standing on the right things that we know is right, we start faltering and doing the negative stuff, wrong things. That's not helpful for our lives. It's not positive. And then everybody around us, our family members, is saying, who are you? What's going on? Why are you doing this? Why are you allowing your life to go down just to be with this person? Do you know who you are? Why have you forgotten who you are? Some people go through these stages in life. But the thing is, once again, don't stay there. When you get out of that pre-contemplation stage, that denial, and you come to yourself, and it doesn't matter how old you are. When you get to that point in your life, it's okay. Dee Dee said, I'm not asking 3 times to. Well, Dr. Dave is talking about the general masses who keeps asking their child over and over again. We're different. We're going to say, I'm telling you, one time and one time only, you better put them dishes in the sink and then wash them dishes. That's us. Just different strokes for different folks. Some people are a little bit more patient than we are. It is what it is. Everybody, they parent differently. Some of us parent alike. You know what I'm saying? But at that time, our teenagers understand. They understand the rules in our home. Okay? And so they have to abide by them. Okay, Didi said, yeah, I know. Exactly. We've all been through it with our children. But then they woke back up again. They snapped out of it. They got it. They got it. This is the overall general consensus of allowing certain people to allow their children to shape the way that they shape. We a lot of times are going to help shape our children in the right direction. Ethical, integrous, work towards goals, a good name, a good person, those type of things. Javon said back in the we got whippings, and if we didn't do what we was told to do, well, he said it. Javon said it. Back in the days, he said we got whippings. He said it. I mean, it's true, but he said it. He said it. I didn't say it. Back in the day, Javon said we got whippings. There are several people in different areas who are agreeing. Yes, we did. But you know what? It helped make us better. Didi said, yup, right. We did. And some of us did the same thing with our children to help them become the ethical adults that they are today. Okay. Okay. So, some of us didn't allow our children to keep bumping their heads in order to learn. I personally, I always taught my kids, there's two ways you can learn. You don't have to learn the hard way. You can learn by instruction. But if you choose to learn the hard way, a hard head makes a soft tail. And that's an old saying. Didi said, right. It makes a soft tail. And so I was like, it's up to you. How do you want to learn? You want to learn by instruction, or you want to learn the hard way? Okay, so, and now they grown, and I listened to my daughter talk. She said, Mama, you told us everybody don't have to learn everything the hard way. You can learn by instruction. I said that makes you a wise person. So even as adults, we go through stages in our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, our 60s. You hear people getting into situations in their 50s. It's like, how the devil did they start doing this in their 50s? Because when you get a lot of times in your 50s, your children are grown, you're an empty nester, you got all this time, you got extra money, I'm still young and I still look good. Javon said nowadays you can't even chastise your kids now without having the police being called. My mom used to say, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Now I'm so the way was raised, because things is crazy. Exactly. The laws have I feel like the laws have they don't have a line of demarcation now. They don't know how to look at a situation and say, okay, this child is not being abused. They're being raised well. And so it's just, they just made like laws. And it's just now, like you said, these young people are just out of control. They're out of control. And they'll tell you, I call the cops. I don't have to listen to you. And I'm like, woo, that's something else. That's a whole nother topic right there. But we are talking about change. We talking about change, and these laws are going to have to change back. They're going to have to, they have to learn how to have a line of demarcation to recognize abuse from a good home, a good upbringing, and so we're going to keep fighting us that go to our council meetings, and we can write or email our council, and we can continue to talk to them and tell them, listen, these things need to change. And the more that they hear from us, the more things will change. Okay, so let me move this on. Our time is up. We're going to move on to part 2 on Thursday night. Let me give you the takeaway for tonight, because we have been moving. Where's my takeaway? The takeaway for tonight, I'm sorry, I got so many papers. Okay, so the takeaway for tonight is everyone's personality traits shift over the years, often for the better, but who we end up becoming and how much we like that person are more in our control than we tend to think. So we have more control over who we are and the things that we do. We just gotta get out of that, number one, that pre-contemplation stage, that denial, and then make moves and can move towards becoming the best you want to be. Now, the quote for tonight, our quote for tonight, and we're gonna pick up on part 2 on Thursday night at 9 p.m. The quote for tonight is, they always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. Isn't that what Dee Dee just said earlier? Dee Dee said that earlier. She said, okay, she talked about it. Y'all look in the comments. Dee Dee said the same thing earlier, that they always say that time changes things, but you actually have to change this stuff yourself. Okay? And that's moving into that action stage and that maintenance stage. All right. So I'm not going to go over tonight. I'm not going over all of the item and everything because our time is up. I'll see y'all Thursday night. And at 9 p.m. for part 2, I'm going to pass all of this, guys. If you know anyone that's struggling, 988, www.988. Just dial 988, and that is a hotline to help some people that are challenged, that are going through challenges, and they need somewhere. It's a free platform, and they need someone that they can confidentially talk to. 988, which is suicide hotline. I'm going to talk about that tonight, and everything else I'll talk about on Thursday. Y'all have a good night. We're going to pick up on part 2 Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same platforms. Good night, everybody. Thank you all for showing up tonight. We'll see you then. Good night.